I'm so glad to be sitting down with my good friend, Rose. Today, Rose is one of my very favorite people in the whole world and one of my very best friends. Rose is going to talk to us about being a pastor's wife. She is a doer and a go-getter and maybe a little non-conventional in the pastor's wife ways. And we're going to talk about that a little bit today. And so I'm so excited, Rose. Thanks for sitting down.
Thanks for having me.
I'm super excited.
Me too.
Okay, so Rose, tell us a little about yourself, your family, your church.
Okay, so I'm married to DJ. We've been married for 11 years, and we have 2 children. So when I married DJ, he was already into the pastoral thing. So I just married a pastor. I married into it. And so that's kind of like where it started. Not the conventional pastor's wife, kind of do things a little bit differently. And so, yeah, that's the family dynamic right now.
Okay, so let's talk about that. So you're not the conventional pastor's wife, as in you are kind of like, not necessarily, you don't feel obligated to say yes to a lot of things like many wives in ministry, and I know this from personal experience, you know how we sometimes feel.
Right.
You have kind of taught me a little bit about being like, no, that's not for me.
Right.
And we did the best yes by Lisa took her study together. And I realized then, I was like, oh, as women, we have trouble saying no. And you're like,
No.
I don't have trouble with that.
I
So
don't
tell
have
us
trouble.
about that.
When me and DJ first got married, therefore, I could say the first year of our marriage, I kind of struggled with that, where you felt like you had to dress the part, you had to teach Sunday school, you had to sing on the praise team, you had to do all these things.
Did you teach Sunday school?
No.
Okay.
I quickly learned that no, I didn't even try. But you kind of feel that burden, like you're not doing enough, you know.
I teach Sunday school and sing on the praise team.
You'd be the perfect pastor's wife.
Worship pastor's wife.
Oh, well, yeah, there you go. So I quickly learned that just was not my place. And I kind of struggled with that for a little bit, but luckily I have a good husband who told me, you don't have to do those things. Yes. So I kind of feel like he gave me permission to be my own person, I guess you could say. And so I don't have a hard time saying no to things. I know my limits, and I know where I need to stop. And my limit, I know I'm supposed to lead praise and worship, and that's what I do.
Yes.
And I'm not going to do more.
I love when you say that. We have several friends who have 4 children, and you will say, I know my limits. I love that.
I do. I think it's good to
know
have.
your limits.
Yes.
You know, that's something, I'm a yes person.
Yes. I'm so sorry.
The struggle is real.
It is.
As a pastor's wife, how do you feel God has called you to use your own giftings and your own skills to be a helpmate to your husband, and how do you assist him in ministry?
So, I mean, a lot of women, a lot of pastors' wives, they do a lot of hands-on in the office at the church for the most part. And like I said, they teach Sunday school, they're really hands-on. I feel like my gift and my calling for my husband is to be in the home, and it's to make our home. So whenever he comes home, he feels like he is in his sanctuary. He is peaceful in his home. It's not chaotic.
Your home is a sanctuary.
Yes.
I feel that way when I get there.
You do at my house?
I want to come more often. Give me a ring to that.
Please do. You know I love to host things.
You do.
But no, that's my calling. It's not so much in the church building as it is when he comes home, you know, things are in order. We can talk about his day. It's not, he doesn't bring the church work home. When he comes home, we talk about just our lives and our kids. And so, I mean, I'm just not the average pastor's wife. I'm not staying up on Saturday night making bulletins. That's just not me. If a bulletin's not done, it's not done. And if the people don't know what's going on that week, I'm sorry, but there's more things important than a bulletin or, you know, PowerPoint or those types of things.
Like you have a secretary, and then you don't feel like it's on you to fill in gaps necessarily.
Yeah, that's just not my calling. I'm not called to do that. And I feel like a lot of women, when they try to stretch themselves and try to do things that aren't their calling, that's where problems arise.
Pastor's wife, tell me about some of the joys that you had just working alongside of him and just the vision that you all have together.
Wife. It's actually watching DJ communicate with the people. And then in turn, seeing those people, seeing their lives actually change, getting those phone calls, getting those texts, seeing those Facebook posts that say, hey, I was at church today and I learned A, B, C, and D. Or, hey, I was at church last night and my life was completely changed by hearing the word. So I guess the biggest joy in ministry for me are those times when the people are excited and
Yes.
they are ready to go and they're being mission minded and they're catching your passion, you know. So there's a lot of not so many joys, but
And now let's talk about those. Tell me some of the difficulties of just being in pastoral ministry.
I think the biggest difficulty for me was the pull of not being me, of trying to do things that weren't my calling, of trying to please people or make them like me. And I've learned already that if you don't like me, I'm sorry. I can't do anything to make you want to be my friend or I just have to be me and do me, and that's what I do. I
Just be yourself and love
Yeah.
people well and let God fill in with grace
and I
elsewhere.
think too, when people see that transparency, when people come into your congregation and they see that you're just a real person,
Yes.
that lets them to like connect more with you, and
Yes.
so that's always a plus for me.
That's good. As the wife of a pastor, how would you communicate to other people involved in the local church, other congregants? How can they support their pastor and his ministry?
Oh, that's a good one. They can support their pastor in ministry, I think, by just showing up. And DJ says it many times to the congregation, but they don't understand how encouraging it is when you're just there and you're smiling and you're engaging with all the people on the stage. One of my biggest things with praise and worship is when you connect with somebody because they're smiling or they're looking at you and they're not just standing there staring far off. So I think just that being connected, being present is a big plus for me. It's just being able to connect with the people. That's the biggest part.
Yeah, that's really good advice. How would you encourage other pastoral wives, other wives of pastors or youth ministers or ministers of music, people who are involved in ministry and maybe they're kind of newer to this? You've been at this 11 years now.
Yes.
How would you encourage some of those maybe new to being married to a pastor or someone in ministry?
I would just have to say, this is my biggest thing, you have to just be yourself. You can't try to please other people because you're always going to disappoint somebody. Everyone is not going to be pleased with what you do.
That's very true.
So when you get along with Jesus and you have a relationship with Jesus for yourself, that shines through.
Yes.
And so my biggest thing would just be know your limits, know who you are in Jesus, and then just be who you are. And I think a lot of times if you don't want to teach Sunday school, that probably is a sign that you're not supposed to do it. If you don't want to sing, or that's probably a sign that you're not supposed to do those things. If you have a passion for kids and you have a passion for teaching young women or whatever, that's probably a sign that the Lord is calling you to do those things. So I think a lot of times pastors' wives, people who feel like they're called to ministry, they kind of get off base because they think that they're supposed to be doing A when really they're supposed to be doing Z. You know?
Yeah.
So I think just paying attention to who you are and who Jesus made you to be is a good key to it.
Yeah, that is. That's a really good indicator of just look at where you're passionate, like what has God put it in your heart, and follow that.
Right.
You know, I think also how you said there will always be someone who's disappointed because we can't meet every person's needs.
Right.
We're not Jesus,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
But I think for me, as a worship pastor's wife, if I try to do what I know God is calling me to do and I feel good that I've acted with integrity, or I have, and there are times that I realize, wait, I haven't done what I should have done, and then I say an apology.
Yeah.
But when I know that I have done my role, you know, to love you the best I can,
that's all you can do.
That's all you can do.
Right.
And then you have to have a peace about that.
Right. And a lot of times people, I mean, like you said, we're not Jesus, but a lot of times people who come to church, people who haven't been in church before, they kind of see that pastor and the pastor's wife as a connection to, that's the only connection they really have to Jesus. And so it is hard and it can be disappointing at times whenever they find out that you're human.
Yeah.
When they find out that you're not that perfect human being.
Oh, that's such a good point. Yeah.
But at those times, you just have to let them know, hey, I'm a person just like you. I have emotions.
I'm going to let you down, but Jesus will not.
Yes. And DJ just said that Sunday. He said, listen, I'm probably going, or I will let you down.
Yeah.
But Jesus won't. So that's always the best hope that we have.
Oh, that is good.
Yeah.
Talking a lot about you being true to you. One of my favorite things about you is that you're such a doer. Let's just talk about some of your favorite things that you, as a real life person, aside from the identity, aside from the identity of DJ's wife, the pastor's wife, like you as your own person, talk about some of the things you're loving doing right now.
Well, I love, which you already know, which there's a few things, but my top loves, I love to make my home, which means probably 95% of my home are things that I've made. I love to fill my home with me.
Yes.
Does it sound bad?
No, like your own personal, your own personal crafts and things that you've done.
Yeah. So I love homemaking. I love making my house smell good. That's one of my things. I love a clean home. That's a big part of about me. Yeah. But what I really love, as you know, is crafts.
Oh yeah.
DIY.
You are DIY.
I'm DIYing it up.
You are.
Party planning.
Yes.
Oh yeah. I love Christmas.
Me too.
Christmas is a great time. So yeah, those are my things. Christmas, crafting, parties, and making my home smell good.
Yeah,
it does.
Your home smells good at the door when she doesn't know we're coming. Like you arrive, oh, it smells good. Imagine that. Thank you so much for sitting down together and talking about your calling that God's placed in your life to be a pastor's wife. And just thank you so much for being willing to encourage others. I won't have you pray us out of here because we all know that what you'd say is,
Jesus,
well, we thank you.
That's my prayer.
That's your prayer. Jesus, well, we thank you.
I'm not a wordy person. Thankfully, you are. And that's when we complete each other.
That is, yes.
You're wordy.
You have the homemade tissue paper palms.
You have the words.
I have the words.
There you go.
Together, we're just wordy tissue paper palms.
Ebony and ivory.
Oh, there we go.
I see the work of your hands, galaxies spinning